draw the awareness the attention from the world outside of you, the world of sights and sounds and sensations. Allow the awareness to pull from that world to the world inside of you. Just allow yourself to drop inward. Allow the awareness to merge with your breath. Don't try to change the breath. Just allow that awareness to merge fully into it. The awareness becomes one with the breath as it flows in and flows out. If the mind wanders or gets attracted by a sound, a smell, a sensation, don't worry, don't fight it off. Just draw the awareness back to the breath. Just keep drawing it back to the breath. Allow the eye of inner sight to focus on your third eye center, that Agya chakra. Allow the energy of inner sight to focus its energy right there on the third eye. Don't try to force anything. Don't squish up your forehead. Just gently allow that energy the energy of the mind's eye to focus that power onto your third eye center. As the awareness stays merged in the breath. If the mind wanders, just bring it back. You can add a gentle mantra with this. You can chant silently to yourself. So, on the inhalations, and hum on the exhalations. So, hum. It means I am that. I am one with the universe. I am one with the Creator and one with creation. I am that. So, hum. Ever so gently, bring the palms of your hands together at chest level and gently rub the palms of your hands against each other. Place your cupped palms over your closed eyes. Slowly open your eyes into the palms of your hands and lower your hands. Welcome to Satsang. Beginning with a question that's come in advance and then opening it to any questions that anyone here might have. How should we react when someone makes an innocent mistake, but that mistake negatively impacts us and other people's lives? Given that time moves only in one direction, and we can't rewind it, once someone has made a mistake, we can't rewind and go back. Most of us, our response, our reactions to things that other people do are sort of rooted in this fantasy that somehow, if I'm angry enough or hold a grudge enough, or can get the person to grovel in apologies enough, that somehow it will rewind and undo whatever they have done. But time moves only forward. which means whatever someone has done, we are here now. Sometimes that mistake can be, we can't rewind it, but it could be undone. Someone stole something. They could give it back. Right? I mean, something as simple as that. You stole this person's shoes. You get caught, you give them back. Shoes are back with the rightful owner. End of dilemma. But in most cases, that which happens isn't as simple as returning a pair of shoes back to the rightful owner. A lot of times what's gotten taken from us is our trust, our inner confidence, our love. And it's very difficult to, you can't just give that back. Now, when someone makes mistakes, whether an innocent mistake as in they didn't know what they didn't mean to, really was just an accident, or they meant to, either way. From the perspective of the one who has been hurt, negatively impacted, all that we need to do is forgive. Those of you who come to satsang frequently will know I'm a big proponent of forgiveness, and I don't mean this lightly. I don't mean it in a, just forget and move on type of way. I mean it in a very clear way, which is that we need to forgive first and foremost so that we are not held hostage by what was done to us. The longer we hold a grudge, the longer we wait to forgive, the more of an impression that is making on our psyche. The deeper we are being molded by it. And so for our freedom, for our spiritual, emotional health, well-being, for us to live in the love and joy that we are meant to, we forgive, because whatever else someone has done is their karmic package. They're gonna have to answer to it. They're gonna have to deal with the fruits of the seeds they have planted. That's how karma works. But that's not up to us. That's up to them and the law of karma. So us forgiving them doesn't absolve them of what they've done. It just frees us from that bondage. It frees us from being stuck to what they did. And then, if there are things that we can do to heal, we do those. But as far as the person, the question said, what should be our reaction when someone has done this? Well, if we're one of the ones who were injured or harmed or impacted, we forgive first and foremost. If we're someone who has watched it happen, if we are just someone who's aware that it has happened, try to help those who were negatively impacted, help them to forgive. The one who did it, help that person. That person's got two things to do. That person has to make as much amends as possible, even if I'm walking down the street and I accidentally trip you. Like I didn't mean to. Maybe I was wheeling a suitcase or something and I wheeled it in such a way that you tripped over it. Maybe I accidentally stepped right in front of you, causing you to trip. Even though I didn't mean to do it, my very first reaction needs to be to bend down and help you get up. Standing over you going, oh my God, I'm so sorry, oh my God, I'm so sorry, doesn't really do you much good. The person who has done this, well, they need to first see how they can fix it. What way do they have to fix it? Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. It depends what it was. But to the best of their ability to see how can they fix what they've done. The second thing that they need to do is to connect with and honor the one who was hurt, and this is where the apology comes in. Even if you didn't mean to do it, a lot of us think, well, I didn't mean to, why should I be sorry? I'm sorry doesn't mean I'm a horrible person, I'm at fault. I meant to. I'm sorry means that you are hurt. Knowingly, unknowingly, on purpose, by accident, that you are hurt saddens me. That I may have played a role in it, knowingly, unknowingly, purposely, by accident, saddens me further. I'm sorry. So if you're just a witness to this, you can actually help both sides do what they need to and move on. Too many of us get stuck in the mistakes that others have made and in the mistakes that we make. And that's the last and third thing that the person who did the mistake needs to do, which is forgive themselves. The person who was negatively impacted needs to forgive. But the person who did it also needs to forgive themselves. Because we hold on. Oh my God, I can't believe I did that. I'm such a horrible person. The overwhelming vast majority of things we do that negatively impact others are things we do without meaning to. Very few of us wake up in the morning and go, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to really hurt that person. Very few of us wake up and plot and plan and figure out, how can I really hurt someone else? We don't think like that. We're all just doing the best we can in our own karmic package, with our own ego issues, our own fears, our own desires, our own patterns. And along the way, we're clumsy. That's all it is. We're clumsy. Stuck in our own egos, stuck in our own patterns, stuck in our own stress. We're clumsy, we're unskillful. And so when we are clumsy and unskillful in our words and our deeds, we fix it as quickly as we can. We apologize. And then we forgive ourselves so that we can move forward. It's interesting, a lot of times in here we talk about the person who was hurt having to forgive. But it's just as important as the person who hurt someone, especially when it was by accident, to forgive yourself. And it becomes very difficult if, by the way, the one you hurt hasn't yet forgiven you. It's a lot easier to forgive ourselves if that person forgives us. It's a lot harder to forgive ourselves when that person doesn't. But we still have to. Because we're here on our own karmic journey, again, doing the best we can. So whether that person forgives you or not, offer it to God with prayers for strength, for clarity, for wisdom, for skill and for grace to not be clumsy and unskillful in the future, to not act out of ego and fear and anger and patterns. And we offer it to God. And then we move on. Because just like none of us should be stuck based on what someone did to us, similarly we should not be stuck based on what we did accidentally to someone else. We're all learning, we're all growing. We're all doing the best we can. Does anyone here have any questions? Yes.
Hi. So ever since I started my spiritual journey, I would often feel misguided with no proper indication of what step should I take next. So people started telling me that when you'll find your guru, he'll guide you towards the path. But then I started searching for my guru. But then people would tell me that, when you'll be ready, your guru will come to you and, take the step. And recently I read somewhere that guru is not a person, guru is a Tatwa. So my question is that, is guru a person or a Tatwa, and how to find a guru?
Beautiful. So, a guru is literally the one who removes the darkness and brings light. That's what the word guru means. The one who removes the darkness and brings the light. That's the guru. And yeah, many times that power is embodied in a person. It's not that we need the guru to be in the form of a person. The dilemma is that because we have very, very strong egos, trying to connect with that power of the guru without an actual guru gets very difficult for the ego, because the ego is constantly going to try to figure out a way to convince you that what it wants to do is right. Oh, you want to have an affair on your spouse? No problem. We'll call that tantra. Right? I can't tell you how many people I have heard justify really what we would call promiscuity, sexual promiscuity. But the ego is so good that it's like, oh, I'm on a path of higher tantra. Well, who's going to argue with that, right? But a guru in a body would. A guru in a body would give you, one slap. In our case with Pujya Swamiji, it would be a metaphoric slap. In the case of him with his guru, it was a literal slap. And set you straight. Set you straight. That is not the path. So many times I've had people talk to me about how I won't go into all the details, but how basically a whole variety of different ego-satisfying patterns and tendencies are actually part of their spiritual growth. And they pull terms and ideas from literature. They just give it a name. If we don't have a guru, the ego gets wrapped up in all of that. The ego gets wrapped up in the idea that, the whole point of meditation is to manifest money and jobs and spouses and cars and houses and vacations and whatnot. And because the ego has a tendency already toward a sense of self that is this body, that is where it's been, what's happened to it, that is its role, its title, its relationships, its career, its bank account. The ego buys into that. So it's really easy for the ego to get co-opted by that. And this is the role that the guru plays, is to remove the darkness of ignorance. This is what in our tradition we speak about. We don't talk about original sin or original evil, but we talk about original ignorance. That ignorance that thinks that I am the body, I am my story. So the guru is the one who removes that ignorance, removes that darkness. And if you don't have one in a person, it's really easy to get wrapped up in the games of the ego. As far as you finding the guru or the guru finding you, it's both. Yes, when you are ready, you will find a guru. The guru will call you on some energetic level. But it's not that you're going to be sitting on your couch eating potato chips watching soap operas because you've decided that, well, the guru hasn't shown up, so I might as well just, hang out here. And suddenly the guru's going to slide down your chimney like Santa Claus and give you enlightenment. You've got to take the steps. You get up off the couch, you put away the bag of potato chips, you turn off the TV, and you start walking on your path. There's a lot that you can get from our scriptures, from commentary on scriptures, from inspirational books, from katha, from satsang, in person, online. There's a lot of ways to get wisdom and light and guidance until that actual guru manifests in your life. So don't give up and just wait on the couch. Keep moving on your path. Get as much wisdom and guidance as you can from all of these ways. And the guru will manifest. Beautiful. Does anyone else have a question? Yes, in the back. Choose mine.
Pranam.
Hi.
I'm very blessed to be here with you and all of you. First of all, I'm a little bit afraid if birthday lady is not too cold in the wind. I feel like old people can be a little bit too
that's
windy.
a good question. Mama, are you feeling cold? You feeling chilly, Mama? Or are you good? I think she's probably okay, but I take the word of God from everyone. So, bhaiya isko pankha band kar dijiyega na. Let's give you a break from the fan for a little while. We're going to take your word as God sent. I take everything that comes as sent by God. Yes.
Dhanyavad. So my question is like, I was afraid to say you a question, or sometimes I'm really afraid to tell my opinion, or for example, I was afraid the idea to buy the flowers for your mother, but I did it today, and I have it because you said last time Mother Ganga, and I
Yes.
thought this Ganga present would be like for your
How sweet.
mother.
Well, we will, after satsang, we're going to all have an opportunity to sing for her, to offer flowers, and you can bring that up. But that's very sweet, very, very beautiful. I want to respond, though, to a question that I'm not even sure you thought you were asking. About that inner insecurity.
Yes.
Because when you doubt yourself all the time, it injures your inner spirit. Like, you've got such a beautiful spirit. Look at that. Here you are. You don't even actually know my mom, but you're worried that the fan might be a little too much for her. You plan in advance and bring her flowers. What a beautiful heart you have. And yet, there's a voice in you that says, this isn't right. You shouldn't say it. You shouldn't do it. And these are things that are so, to me, objectively, unequivocally beautiful things. Because sometimes we do have things to say that kind of could go either way. Maybe we mean it well, but we think somebody might not necessarily take it so well. But these are things that are so unambiguously kind that I'm concerned by your inner critic that is wearing away at your inner spirit, that's suffocating and squishing that beautiful spirit of yours. And I'm going to guess that at some time in your life, probably in early childhood, there were experiences of that spirit not being nourished and nurtured and appreciated and celebrated. Whether they were done consciously on purpose or unconsciously by accident, either way. But my instinct is that there were experiences that made you feel like maybe the core of who you are and your inner instinct isn't so beautiful and can't be trusted. And yet, that inner instinct brought you to this land. It brought you to Rishikesh. Carried you thousands of miles away. Not just to India, but to Rishikesh. To the banks of Ganga. To enable you to find freedom from that. From whatever it is that may have happened, to make you doubt yourself so deeply. And I hope that you can find that inner courage and Look around, there's a lot of people around here to support you. To find that inner courage to go down to Ganga and to offer to her whatever it is that may have happened. Whatever teachings you may have gotten, direct, indirect, that made you stop trusting yourself, that made you doubt yourself. You know, my Guru Pujya Swamiji talks about our own internal GPS. That in cars, and now on our phones, of course, we've got GPSs. We've got Google Maps. You know, you enter in an address of where you want to go. But after you enter the address, before it actually starts guiding you, there's one last step. Usually in the cars, there's a button that says accept. You hit the accept button. I think on Google Maps it says get directions or something, and you have to finally hit that at the end after you've put in your address. Until and unless we actually hit the button that says, yes, direct me. Yes, I accept. Even when we've entered in where we want to go and the map is there, but the directions are only going to come when we actually hit that final button of accept. And so think of yourself as having come here to hit that inner accept button. We know that your inner map is right. Your inner map is exactly right. It brought you here. It's guiding your very, very kind and beautiful heart. But now you just need to have that courage to hit the accept button. Even in the face of those voices from days of the past that say, no, you can't trust it. No, you can't trust this guidance. You can. You can. And so let Mother Ganga, let your beautiful Sangha, the beautiful community here, help support you in that. And hitting that accept button. Beautiful. Any other questions? Beautiful. Anybody else? Yes, in the back.
Pranam. In our lives, when we should go with the flow of the life, and when we have to fight with our goals, fight for our goals, how to decide, and what are the indications, and what are the indications,
Yeah.
and what the difference between both?
I get it, sure. So, when to go with the flow and when to row the boat with a lot of energy. They actually go together. It's not an either or. We are meant to row those oars, meaning to do our duty, to fulfill our dharma, to act in alignment with that. That's what Bhagavan Krishna spent 700 verses of the Bhagavad Gita to explain to us. How to act. That it's not just go with the flow. I mean, that's what Arjun was prepared to do. Fine, okay, they're not giving me any land. Okay. Forget it. No problem. Maybe it was meant to be. And that's where Bhagavan Krishna comes in and says, you need to fight this battle. But fighting the battle, meaning doing our duty, doesn't mean that we stop going with the flow of life. Because a lot of times when we are really working at something, I'm sure we've all had experiences where you really put in time and energy and effort into something, and it just doesn't seem to bear fruit. Well, at some point along the way, that's when we need to say, I'm really putting in my sincerest best, and nothing is happening. That's the equivalent of rowing the boat and literally realizing you're going nowhere, and realizing, that's because this boat is actually chained to the shore. Like there's actually something stopping this boat from going in that direction. And I can row and row and row. But unless that chain is unhooked, it's never going to go anywhere. Or rowing and rowing and rowing, not going anywhere, because we're rowing against the current. And for every stroke of our oars, there's a current coming in the opposite direction. And those are the times when we have to say, okay, I guess the flow of the universe is not in this direction at this time. And that doesn't mean that we're wrong or bad or less than or unworthy. It just means the flow of the universe is not in this direction at this time. Maybe in some time the flow will be there. I think about kids with, lemonade stands, right? Well, sweet, beautiful initiative, okay. But in December, they're not going to get very many customers. And now you imagine you're the mother or father of kids who in all earnestness decide they're going to raise money for some really worthy cause, like they're going to do something good. So they put out a lemonade stand. But the lemonade stand is in 6 inches of snow because it's December. Well, it's unlikely they're going to get a lot of takers for lemonade. Not because it's not a great idea, but just that the flow of the universe isn't in that direction at that moment. So you encourage them, just wait, sweetheart. Wait till June or July. You will see. The flow will be there. So sometimes it's a timing thing. Sometimes it's just, you know what? Flow of the universe, not in the direction of this project. Not in the direction of this invention. Not in the direction of this plan. Okay. And that's when we learn to let go. So it's really both. We must stand, we must serve, we must absolutely do our sincerest best with all of the tools that we have. But then we leave the rest to God. And again, this takes us back to the core message of the Gita, right? Do your best, but don't be attached to those fruits of your labor. So that's where we fight, we do, but we don't know where it's going to go. I love how in the Gita when Arjuna says to Krishna, he says, but I could die. Now Krishna's God. He knows how this is going to turn out. He knows how this is going to end. He could so easily say to Arjuna, no, you're not. Don't worry about it. We've got this thing in the bag, I promise. But he doesn't. He purposely doesn't. And he says to Arjun, yes, you could. But to die in the service of your duty, your dharma, is better than living hundreds of years but not fulfilling it. So we stand up, we work, we strive, tan se, man se, dan se. And we leave the rest to God. And if we have an opportunity, if we realize we're rowing our boat upstream, and we can simply turn it around. So the solution when you realize you're rowing it upstream isn't, oh my God, forget it. I guess I'm just meant to not get anywhere. But maybe the flow of the universe is actually in the totally opposite direction. And if you could just align yourself and your boat with that direction, then you'd see how fast you go. But that requires the ability to surrender into the divine will. Beautiful. Beautiful. As I mentioned yesterday, to those of you who were with us yesterday, today is my mom's birthday. It's her 78th birthday today. And so we have a very special satsang tradition when it's someone's birthday, which is we sing happy birthday in as many languages as we have present in our community that night. So let's start with English, because we can all do that. And then if you can do happy birthday in any other language, you'll raise your hand and we'll come around and you can do it. हाँ, उसके बाद पहले English में कर लेंगे, then we will come to you. So let us together sing, and her name is Sue. So let us together sing. Day to you. Happy birthday, dear Mom. Happy birthday to you. Okay, what other languages do we have? Yes, in the back. और आप लोग ये वाला ये उनके ऊपर हाँ.
We will sing in Lithuanian language.
I'm sorry?
Lithuanian.
Lithuanian, wow, okay, great.
So first we can say the words. There are only 2 words. It's su gimimo diena, su gimimo diena, su gimimo, su gimimo, su gimimo diena. Valo, 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 valo.
Wonderful. Okay, what other languages do we have? Portuguese. Okay, in the front with Portuguese.
Parabéns pra você nessa data querida. Muitas felicidades, muitos anos de vida.
Thank you. Other languages. आशीष भैया आपका बंद हो गया यहाँ.
In Hindi.
Yes, of course.
जय माता दी. तुम जियो हजारों साल साल के दिन हो 50,000. तुम जियो हजारों साल साल के दिन हो 50,000. Happy birthday to you. Janamdin Mubarak, Mubarak, Mubarak. Thank you.
Hey, Mama, they're all singing for you. Look at that. Okay, other languages.
Namaskar. I mention a comment on her birthday in Marathi.
Okay,
Okay, I'm from Mumbai. I'm telling the wishes in Marathi.
okay.
आई तुम्हाला वाढदिवसाच्या खूप खूप शुभेच्छा. नमस्कार.
And I know we've got Dutch in the front. Yes. Karen Kodena.
Lang zal je leven, lang zal je leven, lang zal je leven in de gloria, in de gloria, in de gloria. Hippity pip, hurrah! Hippity pip, hurrah! Hippity pip, hurrah!
Any other languages? Oh, Czech. Okay, okay. First Czech.
Hodně štěstí, zdraví, hodně štěstí, zdraví, hodně štěstí, drahá sú, hodně štěstí, zdraví.
Yes, in the back. What language? Punjabi. Okay.
ਮਾਂ ਮਾਂ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਜਨਮ ਦਿਨ ਦੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਖੁਸ਼ੀਆਂ ਔਰ ਮਾਂ जुगों जुग जियो माँ माँ जन्मदिन की बहुत बहुत खुशियाँ हैप्पी बर्थडे माँ
Now come Urdu, Urdu, Urdu. ਉਹ ਬਾਦਸ਼ਾਹ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਜਨਮ ਦਿਨ ਹੈ ਅੱਜ ਉਹ ਬਾਦਸ਼ਾਹ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਜਨਮ ਦਿਨ ਹੈ ਅੱਜ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧਾਈ ਹੋਵੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧਾਈ ਹੋਵੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਜੈ ਮਾਤਾ ਦੀ
Before we turn to our Rishi Kumars in Sanskrit, do we have any other languages? Ah, yes.
Gujarati.
Okay.
Tame juga juga jiwo mari ma. Tame juga juga jiwo mari ma. Tame juga juga jiwo mari ma. ઈશ્વરની કૃપા તમારા પર ખૂબ ખૂબ વરસે અને ઈશ્વરની ખૂબ ખૂબ આશીષ તમે હંમેશા પામો. પ્રણામ.
And now our Rishi Kumars in Sanskrit.
सुदिनं सुदिनं जन्मदिनं तव भवतु मङ्गलं जन्मदिनं तव सुदिनं सुदिनं जन्मदिनं तव भवतु मङ्गलं जन्मदिनं तव विजयी भव सर्वत्र सर्वदा भवतु मङ्गलं जन्मदिनं तव सुदिनं सुदिनं जन्मदिनं तव भवतु मङ्गलं जन्मदिनं तव भवतु मङ्गलं जन्मदिनं तव ॐ दीर्घायुष्य ओखदे खनिका जस्मै जटवा खनाम्यहं अतो त्वं दीर्घायुर्भूत्वा शतवर्षा विरोहता